On Saturday, Infinity Ward put out a tweet saying, "New missions, new exclusion zone and difficulty tuning. Prepare for DMZ Season 2 update with our deep dive blog next week." And there's some super good news in that tweet. We are definitely getting new missions for DMZ with Season 2, so halfway through February, we're going to have some new missions to do. That's super exciting. It does also mention a couple of other things though. First of all, the new exclusion zone. I assume that just means the new map. Maybe that's the same new map we're getting to Warzone, or who knows, maybe that adds something like Building 21, and we'll have like another new map for DMZ. That would be insane, but you never know. But then the thing that I really want to talk about today is the difficulty tuning. What does this mean, and why might this be a bit of a worry? If you're finding DMZ tough and you want a squad to partner up with, consider using the sponsor of today's video, Gamelink. They've been sponsoring me for a while now, and I keep on going with that because I think it's a super useful app. It's free, you can download it on iOS and Android, and you can use it to find other people to play games with in over 350 games, including DMZ. So you can set up a post, say what platform you're on, all of that stuff, and find other people to get those missions done. Check it out using the link in the description below, or just search the App or Play Store for Gamelink. So obviously we're going to be getting a lot more information this week about what exactly is going to be changed in DMZ. They're going to do this blog post, and as soon as they do, I'll put out a video just explaining everything I possibly can and giving my reactions to that. But right now, the thing that I'm worried about is that they're going to try and make DMZ easier. That little note where they say there's difficulty tuning is something that I think could potentially just kill DMZ flat. Before I go any further, I think there's kind of two separate issues here that need to be talked about. There's difficulty, and then there's bugs. The bugs definitely need to be fixed. So when I'm talking about bugs, I'm talking about the bots flying in the air, or shooting you from under the map, or spawning literally right in front of you. All of that stuff obviously needs to go. That should definitely be fixed. But ignoring all of those bugs, the actual difficulty of DMZ I think is pretty good right now. Yes, the bots are dangerous. Yes, nearly everyone will get killed by the bots at some point, but normally it's because you made a mistake. Normally it's because you got a little bit arrogant. You decided that you could just drive through Sarif Bay or Akhtar Village in like the Humvee or something like that, or you decided that you could go in and take on a stronghold by yourself, and you got caught out and killed. And I think that's how it should be. DMZ should reward you for taking your time to get geared, make sure you've got the right loot, and work with your team to make sure you're covering each other, you can revive each other when necessary, you can tag where enemies are, all of that stuff. It requires a little bit of thought and care, and I think that is super important. If they make it easy, and I know there's a lot of people calling for it to be made easier, they want the bots to have less health, less armor, they want the bots to have less damage, they want the bots to miss more. If they do any of that stuff, and it makes it slightly too easy, where you can end up running around DMZ as a solo, and you don't really need to worry about what loot you have, you don't need to worry about working with your team, I think it will just kill the mode completely. The mode will get incredibly boring, incredibly fast, and people will fly through all of the missions and will just have nothing left to do, and they'll just be like, oh, well, what's the point of playing DMZ? It's too easy. Now, in the past, I have advocated for all games to have an easy mode. I've said, like, I think it's a good idea for everyone to be able to experience something. I think it's cool if everyone can access everything. So why should DMZ be the exception to that? Why shouldn't DMZ have something too? For me, it's because they're not going to do two different modes. I don't think they're ever going to have an easy version of DMZ and then a tougher, like a veteran version of DMZ. I think there's just going to be one. And as soon as they tune that down and they make that mode easy, people will burn through that content too quickly. And the rewards in DMZ aren't good. Like, you don't get many cool operator skins or blueprints or calling cards or anything like that. The fun of DMZ is having those kind of adventures with your friends. You get into tough situations, and sometimes you manage to get out and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you lose everything. And that gives it a little bit of tension, and I think that's important. Right now, I don't think DMZ is too hard. I think anyone in a squad of 3, if you're communicating, can get everything done. If you're in a squad of 2 and you're good at the game and you're communicating really well, you can still get everything done. For solo players, I think there's some missions that are like borderline impossible. I'm sure there'll be some amazing players who can do it, but it's pretty much impossible. And I think that's a good place for it to be. That's a good place for it to sit. If you want to make the missions easier for yourself, try to find other people to play with. Use Gamelink, use the app. Try to find other people to join your squad who are doing the same mission. You can even team up with people in games sometimes and get like 6 people on a team. There's ways to make the game easier for yourself rather than just like nerfing the entire thing for absolutely everybody. And I don't think this is something that they can like try out, because the second they make this too easy, people will fly through all of the content unbelievably quickly, and then they'll just be turned off it. They'll just be bored of it. They won't have anything to do. So that, in conclusion, is why I think DMZ needs to stay tough. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think it should get even harder? Do you think it should get easier? Do you think there's something in particular that maybe they should tweak? Don't forget to leave a like on this video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye. Next up, check out this video where we take on one of the absolute hardest missions in DMZ.